Welcome back to Boston Public Radio. Jim Browdy, Marjorie. And there are a lot of these empowering gurus out there who tell us we should, what's the expression they use, color outside the lines, bend the rules. Well, are grown-ups doing just that by coloring inside the lines, as in coloring books? Turns out coloring books, this is surreal, it was in a Globe story today, are a thing. According to a study in today's Globe, 5 of the top 30 titles on Amazon's bestseller list are coloring books aimed at adults. So we want to know, is this you? Does the idea of sitting down to a coloring book appeal to you? Apparently it's relaxation. Some say it's like meditation. 877-301-8970. Is this like knitting or needle pointing? Is this some yearning to be a kid again? What is the motivation? 5 of the top 30 books on Amazon are coloring books aimed at adults. What are they called? Colorists? Is that the term they use in the story? Colorists or adult colors or something?
When I first heard the term adult coloring books, I thought they must be full of naughty pictures. You know what I mean? I didn't think they were going to be flowers and little animals and little plants, these beautiful designs and stuff. But I guess it's kind of like people do jigsaw puzzles or something. But I'd be surprised too. I mean, I don't get the whole appeal, but they say in these stories that it's marketed as a kind of personal therapy session, a simple and solitary alternative to the digital world in which we live, and you can just sit down and lose yourself in the moment of coloring in the lines. I don't get it, but apparently it's all the fad, Jim.
Well, I was about to say I don't get it either. I don't get the coloring part of it, but are there not totally mindless things? We were just talking about market basket. I love going to a supermarket.
I know, you
and
do.
doing all the aisles, and it's not because I'm buying everything from all the aisles. I find it to be a mindless, sort of mind-numbing, in the best sense of the word, kind of thing. That's what I think this is. I'm assuming you get away from all the crap. You're focused on coloring inside the lines. Maybe it's an interesting story. Maybe it's not. But even though I don't get it, to use your terminology, I sort of do get it. I get the notion that people want you know what I would do? When I used to run nonprofits, and I ran a number of nonprofits when I was a little bit younger, I would always do my own Xeroxing, and people would think, my coworkers or my employees would think it was because I was some sort of egalitarian. It wasn't because I was at all. I really found it to be a wonderful release. You don't think. You just put the piece of paper on the glass. You copy it. You do another one. It's a total release. I know it's it's not quite the same as coloring inside the lines, but I understand the notion of a mindless exercise to give you a break.
Well, you see these television shows. PBS does a lot of them where you have the, it's the 1700s, the 1800s or whatever, and people are, women are there with you saw this in the Wolf Hall thing. Women are there with their embroidery. Mm-hmm. They're just sitting there silently in their embroidering. And I always think, gee, I wonder if they were having great thoughts while they were embroidering, because there was no television, no sound. I mean, some of these people are probably doing this with a TV on in the background, music on in the background. But that silence that we kind of don't have anymore, so maybe that's part of it. You sit there
maybe, I don't know.
Quietly. I don't know. But
it's a relaxing distraction from sort of the world. I mean,
did you say about Brookline Booksmith, where they say the phone's been ringing off the hook on a daily basis for requests for back-ordered titles? On the occasion one of those back-ordered titles appear, it's almost instantly gone. While the section at the front of the store devoted to grown-up coloring supplies currently exists in a state of perpetual disarray.
How do we miss this? Did you hear, until you read the Globe piece, which is written by Dugan Arnett, I think.
Yeah.
Dugan Arnett. Had you heard of this?
No,
trend?
I was just at the Brookline Booksmith. I saw these coloring books. I didn't notice that they were in disarray, but I kind of thought they were for kids.
How about a Jim and Marjorie coloring book? Can you imagine? Does that have huge potential?
Fly off the shelf.
Exactly. Let's take some calls. Let's go to Sean in Dedham, who I'm sure is coloring as we speak. Hey, Sean.
Jim, the coloring book that you would have would be dollar signs as if tax money is taken out of us.
Thank you very much. Luckily, your phone is breaking up. Go ahead, Sean.
Hopefully I'm clear now, Jimmy.
Yes, you are.
Not help out to the food pantry or maybe coach a sport. I mean, is there something they can do? Can they clean up and get a
Sean,
Oh, Sean, it's a lousy connection. I'm sorry.
But the basic thrust of Sean is he thinks is pathetic. Is that a fair? I think it's a fair summary of Sean's rather brief.
Yeah, he wasn't impressed. He wasn't impressed.
877-301-8970. Do you do it if you're an adult? And if you don't do it, do you understand what motivates people to do it? And so now that you know it, and we lead fairly stressful work lives, can you imagine yourself going to Brookline Booksmith, which we both love, and buying a coloring book?
No.
Neither could I. Let's go to Fall River, hometown of Marjorie Egan. Crystal is on the phone. Hey, Crystal.
Hello, how are you today?
We're great. Thank you for asking.
Long-time listener, first-time caller.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, I was thinking the coloring book, an idea. Well, my mother's been coloring since we were all kids. I'm the oldest of 9 kids, and that was the only quiet time in my whole entire life was when it was time to sit down and color.
So would you all color together, like the kids and Mom, or was Mom coloring by herself?
No, we'd all color together. And now that we're all adults and my brothers are all in the military, she sits down and colors with my nephews and nieces.
I love this.
It's a wonderful time to just get together, put the cell phone down, and just do something constructive with your hands for a little bit.
Okay, do you have the TV on while you're doing this?
No, everything's off.
Wow. Okay, well that's what it says in the
story.
I love
this, Crystal.
It's kind of quiet time and it's therapeutic, and you get away from the frenzy and all the jingling of the cell phones and the iPads and all that kind of stuff.
Crystal, thanks for your first call. Do it again soon, please. I love that story. How much can you imagine the scene of everybody in the family sitting down, and instead of everybody being on their cell phone and texting their friends or their whomevers, everybody's got a coloring book. I mean, I can't quite see myself doing it. Well, but Crystal's talking about as adults,
the pictures on the velveteen, like the Elvis picture that Whitey Bulger was working on with a friend of his was selling out there at the
I remember
at the prison. I used to do that.
Do you ever do the little thing on the back of the matchbooks where you color if you drew the what's it called from the sign, the silhouette of the clown, you could win a scholarship to an art school? I did that all the time.
Really?
I did, yeah.
You didn't win the scholarship?
Not yet. I haven't, but the problem is you can't find a matchbook anymore.
Okay, let's go to Jim in Providence. Hi, Jim.
Hello, Jim.
Hi. I just wanted to mention there's a rap artist that I like called Bun B, and he came out with a coloring book of featuring like rappers. So it was like current rappers, and then like legends, and it was pretty cool.
Did you buy it?
Kind of. No, I didn't. I saw the pictures of it online, but I think you guys are motivating me to purchase it.
Our pleasure.
It's pretty cool. I mean, you can pretty easily make, from an image of someone's face, you can make it cool.
So does this, even though you haven't done it yet, and it's one of your favorite rappers, does the concept of sitting down and coloring something have an appeal to you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think your points about it being sort of, relaxing and it's,
I love that you said I think so.
Task.
That's pretty good. Hey, Jim, after you buy the coloring book, send us an email at bprwgbh.org. I'm dying to hear how it went. Thanks much for the call. 877-301-8097. This is going to be one of these things where by the end of the segment, we're both going to be into it.
Barbara says it's a great way to prevent herself from eating while she listens to Boston Public Radio. Art says, here I thought that talking on the radio for 3 hours a day was Jim's version of mindless activity. Said with the utmost respect and admiration, Art says. So I guess people, maybe I should try this. Maybe I should try this.
But, despite the fact that we're both acting so surprised, and we're not acting, we are so surprised because purely because we hadn't heard it, almost everybody knows has a variation on this. I didn't know that millions of people, adults, were coloring, but every adult don't each of them have some special thing they do to be distracted from all the craziness and the anxiety and the...
I know a lot of people that have done things like this to quit smoking. Like a lot of people I know that started began knitting to quit smoking. They wanted to do something with their hands, exactly, or crocheting or embroidering, and you can make something. It just never occurred to me that you could, get the secret garden coloring book, which apparently is like so widely sold out all the time that the author was apologizing because they were behind in matching the demand for those. But it just didn't occur to me. It seems like a kid thing.
Did I ever tell you I made a rye rug?
To a restaurant with your kid. Remember when your kids were little, you go to the restaurant, they have all the crayons and they have the coloring. They color there at the restaurant, keep them occupied, while you were trying to eat your dinner thing.
Yeah. Let me get back to my question. Did I ever tell you that I made a rye rug when I was in law school?
I think you did, Jim.
I made a rye rug.
What is a rye rug, please, for
I don't
listeners?
remember, but I know that was the RYA, I think. And it was like a hand-knitted thing. And I actually did it. It was like a whole rug, like a 6x9 kind of
Really?
thing, and I hung it on the wall. Yeah.
I used to make pot holders.
You did?
That was a big
Well, why
thing
is that
when I was a
different from?
kid.
I mean, it's the
well,
same
because
sort
I
of
was
deal.
like 6 when I was making the pot holders.
Yeah, well, that's
Jason
different.
says, as an artist, he thinks coloring books for adults could be a good gateway drug for an individual to find their way to greater, deeper art making. So there you go.
John from Rhode Island, you're next on Boston Public Radio. Hey, John.
Hey, Jim and Marjorie, how are you today?
We're glad to
Great.
talk to you. We know your voice. You're the guy whose first book was Barefoot by Ellen Hildebrand. Is that not correct?
That is correct. And if I hadn't just started to read books, I might have time to color within the lines. I was never very good at that as a kid either. I
Neither was
gave that
I.
up years ago. But I'm going to Martha's Vineyard for a long weekend this weekend, and I'm bringing Rabbit Run with me.
Oh, excellent.
I'm actually going to be one of those people sitting on the beach reading a book.
Excellent.
John, we love you. And is it July 23rd, I think?
so.
July 23rd is Rabbit Run, part of the BPR Summer Book Club. And you were a great contributor, John, in this month. We hope you call again. Have fun on the vineyard.
I can't wait.
877-301-8970.
Let's go to Michelle on the road. What do you think, Michelle?
Hi, Michelle.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Great, thank you.
I really love your show. I listen to it when I'm driving to work every day.
Oh,
Oh,
thank you.
Makes the commute nice.
Thanks a lot.
So I have a niece, and sometimes we sit in color. So I'm kind of like jacking her coloring books, but I also
Jacking her coloring.
I like her stuff, but I think that the adult coloring books are a great idea. I think that we're always on the road. We're always going. And it's nice to just, like, unwind, unplug, like, not have the TV on, and just kind of, like, relax. I think crafting is very therapeutic for me.
Yeah.
And it just kind of, like, you know, lets you decompress from the day. And, you know, if you want to color outside the lines, you can do whatever you want to do. So
go
I
rogue.
think it's a wonderful idea. Yeah.
So,
Michelle,
Michelle,
thanks.
are there other things besides coloring books that you would put in that same category, though?
I would say probably like knitting.
Yeah.
Or crocheting.
Yep.
I like to scrapbook.
Oh,
So,
scrapbook.
Things like that, like cutting things out.
Yeah.
Like, you know, taking the time, being very detail oriented, and it's something that you have to focus on, so you can't be doing a million other things while you're doing that.
You know, Michelle, you have said this 10 times better than I did. I kept saying about mindless distraction. You're saying almost exactly what this woman, Sarah Deaver, who is president of the American Art Therapy Association, says in the Globe story. I think it probably speaks to people's enjoyment in doing this kind of relaxing hobby or distraction. And then she goes on to say exactly what you did. It creates an object of focus, and this is what I hadn't thought about. It creates something that's beautiful, and then at the end is satisfying. Just like the things you talked about you do. You have something at the end that's a product of your work.
Yeah, okay, but then what do you do with it?
What?
It's why I can't be Michelle. Thank you very much for
Thanks,
the call.
Michelle. Great
mentioned
call.
scrapbooking, which I find very stressful because then you have to figure out which pictures you're going to keep, which pictures you're not going to keep. And if you don't keep them, do you throw them out? And the pictures of your kids, and you can really throw those out. It's the same thing with the pictures you threw with the scrapbook, the coloring book. What do you do with them? Do you hang them up on the wall
Yes,
now?
I hang them on the wall. What I did last night, actually, which is why I was late to work today, was scrapbooking. I love her use of verbs. Michelle actually was great.
Yeah.
I scrapbooked last night, and then I hung it up on the wall.
But listen to this. People look at Kathy just emailed. She said she started coloring in her son's coloring book years ago to help soothe herself during panic attacks, a drug-free approach. So there you go. Paul says his girlfriend's a clinical therapist who designed a coloring book for her patients about 10 years ago. Again, seems to be very helpful.
This is amazing.
Therapeutically.
Let's go to Steve in Norwood. You're next on Boston Public Radio. Welcome, Steve.
Hey, Jim. Hi, Marjorie. How you doing?
Great. Thank you.
Hey, listen, just full disclosure, I went to high school with Sean, and I don't think he even knows how to read, never mind.
Wait, did you really go to high school with Sean?
I did. And if he's listening, he knows who this is.
Sean's
a good guy.
I love that. Did he graduate?
I'm not sure. I was ahead of him in homeroom. So I'm not,
By the way, we happen to love Sean, as strange as he is.
Sean
But go ahead.
is a great guy.
Go ahead, Steve.
Sean's a good guy. Listen, my mother got these coloring books. They're called Color Me Your Way. And she got them for, I guess, 3 little boys. And I found myself doing the things for hours. It's ridiculous. It's addicting. You do different types of pencils and pens. And it's like, the pictures look awesome when you're done with them. So, you know, it's you feel like you're Van Gogh by the end of the day when you color.
Just don't cut your ear off. So what do you do with them? Like Marjorie asked me before. If you do that, what do you do when you're done and you feel like Van Gogh?
you know, you get the Van Goghs, and then my 9-year-old, his doesn't look that much like Van Gogh. I just recycle them. You just throw them away. I mean, there's too many of them, but they are very intricate, and you could spend hours and hours on each one. Really good.
And
so,
Steve,
check it out. Yes.
Do you use pencils or crayons or both?
I use everything. Magic markers. You know, like the little fine point Sharpies. Like
Yes, I do.
Pilot pens, colored pencils, crayons. You can use whatever you want. It's very, very therapeutic. So.
Hey, Steve, when you have a high school reunion, if you and Sean are both going to be there, can you call me?
Absolutely.
Steve,
and Sean knows who I am. If he wants to color anytime, he knows where I live. Have him come over. I got one.
Steve, thanks for the call. By the way, everybody online who we're not getting to, don't do it, but I get it. I'm hoping to buy one. Everybody is, even those like us who knew nothing about it.
Now,
apparently,
imagine this scene: 4 guys, 40 or 50 years old, sitting around the picnic table, coloring.
I can't wait.
What would you make of it, Jim?
July 4th. That's what it's all about.
Okay.
Patriotic coloring book.
Coming up.
Red, white, and blue. Fill in those blanks.
The intersection of Hollywood, the Communist Party, and the Great Depression come together in the new book, Girl of My Dreams, by local writer and Academy Award-winning filmmaker Peter Davis. Peter Davis is next on 89.7 WGBH, Boston Public Radio.